Started.
Okay, stop.
2, 1.
Hi guys, I've been working with a house that's been damaged by renters. It's a house, conventionally built house, not a mobile home that I make into a house. The owner is a she, and she likes a particular floor made by Shaw Floors. This is called Pro 3 Series 100% waterproof vinyl flooring, and then it talks about waterproof, pet proof, worry proof, with proven attributes, easily maintained, minimal subfloor, minimalized telegraphing, armor bead finish, and improved dimensional stability. And supposed to be the hardest working vinyl floor built for the most demanding environments. Okay. I will tell you what I think of this, but I'll do that at the end. We've been putting it together. Cutting it is not like they show on the video. It is an I Can Cut drywall type X 5/8. It says to score. Let's just do this right in front of you. I'm cutting it twice because I know this is going to be difficult. And you flip it over, and that was a little bit of effort. Now, you can, if you get real close, you're not going to even get that easy. As a matter of fact, when you do a rip like that, you can try to turn it over and you might be able to break it, but I'm telling you, this stuff is really, really hard, and you need to score it at least twice, which means that you have a trouble. If you don't stay dead on in, you could jump over and da-da-da-da. So what I end up doing is taking a pair of pliers or snips and bending it even still, and work from one end through, kind of putting the points about where the break is going to be. And you got a small rip like that. So, believe me, it's not like they show in their company video. It's not at all. It is very difficult to cut in comparison to what they say. So, next I will be showing you what I think of and the troubles I've had with trying to get the pieces to mate. If you look here, this little round piece right here and that little bit of area right there is supposed to stick into this, and it doesn't want to go like that. And if you notice how fragile that is right there, okay, so you end up having to tilt it up, which is okay, but before you put that up, you have to put the end in first. And you literally have to bow the piece in, and then you have to lift it up and slide it over and sometimes tap it in. That seems like pretty simple. But the issue is when you go around a doorway where you're going underneath that doorway, you have to lift it up and you can't. It's the biggest pain in the ass I have ever dealt with. I was spending 4 times as much labor trying to do this. So, even still, I see guys doing it, and they do a time lapse, and hey, it's done. This is a typical house fixing type thing. It's some of the hardest I've ever had to deal with in flooring, exception of ceramic tile, but ceramic tile's got a better value. Next thing to remember is that if it's so waterproof, why do they spend half of your instruction manual and a lot of your instructions online explaining to you how not to have moisture on the floor? Okay, if you're worried about the bottom of the thing not being waterproof, how do you expect the water to run across here and go to the gap that you're supposed to have on the end? How is that going to keep water from going underneath? And guess what? Then you're no good. So it's not waterproof. It is not waterproof. I mean, it will not hold up. Second thing, and the one I keep hyping on is and staying on, is you notice that the actual amount of color is right there. It's less than 1/3 of my fingernail. If any of this gets scratched, you've got to take it all up. Any of it gets scratched, you're done, okay? It will get scratched. And the rest of it's just going to be gray. In this particular shape, you know, we might be able to get away with a scratch gray. But brown and all those other ones, you're not going to make it. And I'm telling you, this is not a good choice. It's quite high. And it's 4 times as hard to put together. It is fussy as all get out to put in. I'll show you some video of me putting it in. I don't like it. It's too high and too hard, too labor intensive. And I think if you look around, there's other people that say the same thing if they're being honest. I didn't buy it, and I will never buy this. It is the most frustrating flooring I've dealt with in a long time. So don't buy this particular product. I'll show you some more tricks if you get stuck with it or you're having to handle it. All right, this is an idea. I literally had to take the trim off so that I can do what I need to do. For instance, I have to be underneath. I need to have that gap or smaller, which I made it tight over there so I can push real hard. So I'll slide the whole floor this way, but this is how difficult it is. It has to be till it's totally tight. You have to make sure. If you don't, even then it might come out. Then you lay it down. Hopefully you can put it in this way. There's a gap right here. Then you lift both up, which is really tight with your fingers. If you notice, I can't get anything to hammer it together because I'm too close. Imagine if I had trim, I couldn't do this. So now I'll have to put this in here, put a pry bar and push this way. Hopefully it'll go together. I've got to keep all this until that closes up. I don't know if you can see that with the camera, but that's got to go inside, and it absolutely has to go inside. When you're using the full planks, you push until you can see these two lined up right there. Like when this piece and this piece are going together, you know when this seam is put in whenever those two sides are lined up. But this is the most irritating bunch of flooring I've ever dealt with. It's not easy. You can do it, but it's not easy. Having to take the trim off and put it back on is going to cost me a lot of time, not because of taking the trim off, but because I got to repair all the damage to the paint. And it's just going to be a nuisance. And this flooring has been 4 times as hard, maybe more, to put together. So I don't recommend it. If you're stuck with it, just make sure you pay attention to the details where it's together. You can cut small cuts with snips. You gotta be careful when you get to the very end of the snip, it'll try to fracture. So you want to cut with a razor knife first, say if you're doing the notch. So you notch it with a razor knife to kind of control where it breaks. But you can take snips and cut. You can take a saw and cut. Anything like a jigsaw or a sawzall is going to shake you all up. Maybe an oscillating saw where it's this way, but this stuff is really hard. It's not like easy to break and snap like other people say. And if you don't take my word for it, you'll find out when you get it. It's a real hassle. If you've ever done any other flooring, this is hard as any I've ever done. It looks neat if you get it right. The problem is when you go against the wall with spacers, if you don't put enough spacers, or if the wall is not straight enough, when you push up against it, these joints will go up. So you have to stagger your joints as much as 6 inches or more. And when you push up against it, if this joint has not got backing behind it, or if it's a little bit of a bow right here, it bows like this, it'll pop open. So I'm telling you, it's a major hassle to deal with this stuff because it's such a small ledge to sit on. I mean, it is so small. There's my fingernail. It holds somewhat, but it is a hassle. It in a lot of ways. But other than that, you follow the basic layout of rooms and things like that. But I'm telling you, you want to go with something different than this. And I recommend, if you want to do a vinyl floor covering, some stuff called Traffic Master by Home Depot, where it has like an inch and a half lap, where the other one lays over, and the other one's notched, so it will, and it's real sticky. You put it together all the way around. I have two sides that are got the lap sticking out, and then the other two sides allow for the lap over the next one. That particular one, you don't have to have any glue. You just need to keep your joints tight. And you can take a heat gun or a hair dryer and heat it up and pull it out and replace it. If this goes bad, if you get a scratch on it, you've got to replace it all. I promise you. These little fragile bumps on these things, ledges on these things, they're going to break when you take it apart. It's not going to be this whole floor. That's a problem with any of your interlocking floors like this. If the color is just not thick enough, and you're going to get a scratch and you can't replace it. So that Traffic Master stuff, you can replace it. I don't think they intended for you to do that, but I figured out how to do it. So you use a heat gun / hair dryer, turn it on high, and you can loosen up that sticky part, pull it out, and slip another one in. I'll show you how to do that sometime. I don't care for vinyl flooring, mostly because of the fact that you can't replace. That's why I use a lot of 1x1 tiles. That's why if you get a cut on this tile, you just heat it up, take out that tile, put another one in. So I don't recommend this stuff. It's real expensive, but if you go ahead and use your own judgment, check around. And I looked at other people's reviews. Some of them don't really tell you the truth. Others do. I'm not going to give a good review to it because it's just horrible. It wouldn't matter to me if I tried to do a commercial. My conscience would not allow me to tell you that this is an easy job to do. So, somebody might be better than me at it, but God bless them. I hope they keep on doing it because they can do my share of this stuff.